Black Oni.
What's up, everybody? This is JBlaze06 here, giving you some more Black Ops 2 gameplay. I'm playing some headquarters right now, and I'm using the Scar H customized, full auto. I have the stock as well as the suppressor attached, running lightweight, scavenger, toughness, and tactical mask. I go a little bit ham in this gameplay video, so hope you guys enjoy. I haven't uploaded any headquarters video gameplay in the past, so let's see how this goes. I don't even know. I don't know how it's going to be. But yeah, basically I want to talk to you guys about Call of Duty versus Battlefield, what that means in the full spectrum of what's going on in gaming right now. Everyone has this whole elitism going on where like, oh, Battlefield sucks or Call of Duty is for noobs or blah 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 yada yada. There's a lot of I guess angst and hate towards other gamers who like to enjoy other games. It's kind of odd. I don't really understand it, but I guess I can understand it a little bit. So as a disclaimer, I'm of course uploading footage of Call of Duty Black Ops 2, but I also play a little bit of Battlefield. Now, I find myself gravitating more towards Call of Duty lately, because I just really enjoy infantry-based combat. Yeah, look at that. It's going in on those guys. And this guy came out of nowhere and just completely ruined my day. I really enjoy playing first-person shooters. I think I like the tightness and responsiveness that you get in Call of Duty more so in Battlefield, because I think Battlefield centers a lot more on traversal, as well as vehicle combat. And I think it's really, really cool and awesome that you can go in a game and go from infantry-based combat to playing in a jet or a helicopter and like shooting at people and going to objectives, and all that's just so insanely cool. And that's something I guess a lot of Call of Duty players wish they could have, and so they play, they'll play Battlefield to kind of get a little bit of that experience. But I have a preference again more towards infantry and like closer quarters battles, so I enjoy playing Call of Duty games more often than I play Battlefield. But with Battlefield 4 on its way over pretty soon, I'm really excited to see how that pans out. I'm a gamer first and foremost. I'm not a Call of Duty guy, or I'm not a Battlefielder, or I'm not. But there's all types of other games coming out too, like Destiny, for example, is looking phenomenal. I really can't wait to start playing that game. I really want to play Titanfall, even though I'm not getting an Xbox One. Titanfall looks like an amazing first-person shooter experience. There's been a couple of other games that have been released on PC in the past already. I'm trying to get that guy really hard. So like PlanetSide 2, for example, I've heard amazing things about that game from the PC crowd. And it'll, I guess, fulfill your desire to play a vehicle-based game with also infantry. And Blacklight Retribution is another free-to-play game that's coming to PS4 that's going to be a lot of fun to play, because it reminds me a lot of ways of Call of Duty, like the fast-paced, intense, very low hit point type of gameplay. And so I'm really excited to get my hands on both of those games. But we're here to talk about Call of Duty and talk about Battlefield and things people like about one game and don't like about other games. So yeah, I start killing everyone. I could have gotten this other guy if I was a little bit smarter, but you're gonna see in a second. I could have gotten pretty much everyone in this entire area if I didn't try to go down there just waiting for him to come up. I would have gotten everyone. I get too excited sometimes when I'm playing. I'm start ripping through people. I'm like, I can get everyone, but I try to do a little too much. That's another one of the things I love about Call of Duty, is that it's so fast-paced, it's so frantic. It's like all in your face and high-octane energy. With Battlefield, one of my gripes about Battlefield is that it takes too long sometimes to find people. So the beauty and the beast of Battlefield is that the maps are very elaborate, very, very large and expansive. But at the same time, sometimes I just want to get in and start shooting people. Like, I just really want to, throw C4 at a guy, throw an EMP and shoot some guy in the face when he's trying to go into a building type of thing. I just feel like that experience is a little bit tighter and a little bit more fluid on that end. But at the same time, there are certain things within Battlefield's gameplay infrastructure that just make more sense. So, like, traversing the environments, yeah, I could have gotten that guy, but I wasn't really paying full attention. Traversing the environments, for example, vaulting over objects or like going over areas and going into and out of prone, it all feels so much more fluid. It's so much more natural in Battlefield. And that's one of my gripes about Call of Duty I have, is that even as fluid as the gunplay is, traversal is still a little bit too a little bit too slow. See, I keep getting too excited, man. I keep seeing the guys. Oh, I can strafe around him. I got my stock on. I can mess him up real good. All I had to do was just stay back there, and I would have gotten him. This is someone else. This isn't even me. But yeah, I mean, those are things. You know, I'm going to continue talking about my gripes about, you know, Battlefield versus Call of Duty. I feel like the interface for Call of Duty, for example, like you spawn and you see all the stuff that you have active, and then you see the little points showing up, and like everything is very clean and clear. What I really like about that, like the subtle little movements at the very bottom left where the score is, you can see like a little bit of the overlay of the texturing. Like little subtleties like that within the interface really makes that like a standout thing for me. I really love seeing that kind of thing. Like when you just kill people, you see their tags show up, and it's very non-obtrusive. But it's also still at the forefront enough for you to pay attention to it. I feel like a lot of stuff in Battlefield, it's very unobtrusive, almost to the point where you start missing some details. Because everything's kind of like in a blue overlay, it's very strange to look at it as opposed to like a stark contrasting white with a subtle. Yeah, I could have gotten both of them here if I was a little smarter and just threw my C4 instead of trying to shoot them. But I always like shooting people instead of throwing C4, so that's my bad apparently. But it's one of those things. I just feel like the interface is a little bit cleaner in Call of Duty. And I'm sure in Battlefield they'll continue improving the interface. The Battlefield interface isn't bad at all, not in any way. It's more confusing to me because I'm more used to the interface for Call of Duty. Yeah, I got promoted. Oh, I guess got stuck. I tried to run over to that guy and see if I can blow him up with his own explosive, but that didn't work out too well. And one of the things I hate about Call of Duty, for example, is like those kill streaks are so annoying. Like you really know they're there until you've already been there. No, I'm sitting here trying to shoot at that shit. The other thing I don't like about Call of Duty is you can't adjust what will be in your class while you're in the game. So you can't just go. I think I got a text message. You can't just decide in Battlefield if people are using a lot of airplanes and aircraft and stuff like that. You can very easily next time you're about to respawn, just change your loadout and your equipment, and you'll now spawn with a anti-aircraft rocket launcher, and you'll be able to get rid of them that way. Call of Duty, if you don't have something in your loadout already for your 5 classes, or in my case, I have 10, because I've prestiged a certain number of times, and I can allocate that to my classes. If you don't do that, first and foremost, you're pretty much screwed. You have to rely on your teammates to try to get rid of those aircrafts. But at the same time, you have to earn those aircrafts. You can't just go over to a jet and just like pick it up and say, all right, I'm in a jet. I'm going to just pwn everyone and just stay in a vehicle the entire game. And you'll see people go an entire match without dying once because they're in a tank the entire time and they just haven't engineered. And that's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's really cool that you have that ability to do that. But at the same time, it's annoying as all hell to be in an infantry combat and you're going through, you're like, oh yeah, I'm fighting this guy, I'm fighting that guy. Oh, that guy has some really cool tactics. He's sniping at me. Like, I need to figure out what to do. Your teammate comes by, they're helping you out. You're like, all right, this is awesome. And I got some support from my teammates. And then a fucking tank comes out of nowhere and just blows your whole shit up. And you're just like, come on, man. Like, there was a rhythm going on. Like, I felt like it was a fair battle. There were people who were either outclassing me or outshooting me. In that case, you just got outgunned by a fucking tank because you couldn't have done anything about it. So those are the double-edged swords of both of those situations. Where in infantry-based combat, there's not as much variety in terms of that. And you still have those situations where people have kill streaks and they'll try to kill you through those. But you still have to earn those kill streaks. You can't just run up to an object and just decide you want to go inside. This is me hiding like a little bit because I don't want to get killed by that. And they destroyed my sentry gun, of course. I think that was what they were mainly trying to do. But I had a hard time. I had a hard time getting over the fact that there wasn't as much infantry-focused combat in Battlefield 3. And it could be different for PC because PC was I believe they allowed you to play with 64 players, whereas PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 only let you play with I think it was 24 at the most, or 16 even. It was a much smaller number than the PC crowd, and it's one of those things. I mean, and one of the things I really love about Battlefield is you can attach as many objects to your gun as you wanted, as long as there was space. Like, you can't obviously attach a flashlight and a laser sight and some other thing on the rail because there's only space for a few things on the railing. Look, I killed that guy in short resistance. I'm such a mean person. But you can attach as many things as you want. You weren't penalized for doing that. You weren't getting anything taken away from doing that. Maybe you got like a little bit of mobility penalty, but that's like understandable. Um, Whereas in Call of Duty, you have to have allocated points towards those things. So like, for example, if I had the option, I would put fast mags on this. I'd have the stock on there. I would have the suppressor, and I would have a laser sight. And those would be 4 attachments I would have on there to see if I can go through and wreck shit. But Battlefield, you can do that. So you have a lot more options in terms of customization. Um, the two gripes I have about both games, I believe both Battlefield and Call of Duty will be rectifying this a little bit in Battlefield 4 and Call of Duty Ghosts, is the ability to really fully customize your characters. I'm a really big like customization nut. Like I really love customizing characters and like making. This is me derping pretty hard there. I really love customizing my characters. Like in Rainbow Six Vegas, for example. I talked about that game a bunch of times because I loved it so much. I customized the hell out of my character. I wanted to make him look so cool and so interesting and make him look different than other people's. Yeah, look at me. I was just a terrible shot there. I wanted to make my character look different than everyone else's. I didn't want to follow. And one of the things I love about Call of Duty is you can customize your emblem. So you can decide, if you want to have some big old boobies as your emblem, you can do that. If you want to have a penis emblem, you can do that. If you want to have Solid Snake like I do, you can totally do that. In Battlefield, you can't really do that. And the other thing I do, the double-edged sword of both of these games, is Battlefield is a little bit more realistic, and not just in movement, but also in the way that it works. So you get bullet drop. So if a sniper is looking at you from one side of this map to the other, he has to take into account the bullet drop. Yeah, that guy was kind of camouflaged, wasn't he? You have to take into account the bullet drop. So you'll have to aim a little bit higher and do a little bit more leading with your shot. The double-edged sword of that is sniping is a lot harder for you to actually do. Whereas if you get sniped by someone and they do that to you, it's like, all right, they had to really like do very quick calculations in order to kill me with that. So I never usually get mad at when I get sniped in Battlefield. But in Call of Duty, I mean, it's so annoying when it happens in Call of Duty because some people are really, really amazing quickscopers, and I'm not a very good quickscoper. You'll see some gameplay footage of me trying to quickscope at some point, and it's not pretty. I used to be pretty good at it in Modern Warfare 2. It might have been either 2 or 3. I was pretty decent at it, but I could go through and kill their whole team basically. And I get too excited. I start moving forward without really needing to. If I had stayed back there a little bit and just turned a little bit, I would have gotten 4 of them in a row right then and there. I love the Scar, but I think my favorite gun is either the Type 25 or the. Yeah, I should have been dead here. I should have been dead a long time ago. Either the Type 25 or is it 95? I think it's the Type 95. And the MTAR. The MTAR was the first gun I golded because I just love that gun so much. It's such a fast firing rate and such a smooth transition from going from sight to regular. Everything about that gun I love, but I haven't used it in a very long time. Anyway, more about Battlefield and Call of Duty. What are the other gripes I have about it? I've had really bad experiences with Battlefield 3 on PlayStation 3. Headshot after headshot, man. I'm going there in this game. Woo! But yeah, I mean, I completely lost my train of thought now because I was like, the video's about to end. Let's see what else. There's a whole bunch of other gripes I could have about the games, but other than that, I really enjoyed playing both games. I've had problems with Battlefield because of, friends. I wasn't able to join friends' games, and other people weren't able to do things, and blah blah blah. There were a lot of connection problems, and I was getting put on the wrong team. But I think most of those problems are rectified now. So anyway, if you guys like what you saw today, press the like button, subscribe, and all that great stuff, because that stuff helps my channel out quite a bit. And yeah, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about Call of Duty versus Battlefield. I'm probably going to end up getting both games. But let me know which game you're most interested in, or if you're interested in neither of those games and you want to try checking out, Killzone. I'm gonna do a video on Killzone pretty soon, actually. But yeah, as always, game on. Jay Blaze out, and I love you all.